looked at someone and just thought to yourself, how are we still friends?
Absolutely.
What's up guys, and welcome back to another Shiro, because Shiro plus video equates to Shiro, and I am glad that you're back to see what I have next to offer. This video was brought about by a text message I received from a friend. Okay, I use the term friend very loosely. They were asking if we could hang out. These type of requests usually warm me to the core of my heart, but as I looked at that message, I just felt disgusted. I've had two notable toxic friends in the whole of my life. The first was a girl that I met in grade 2. I was 6 years old at the time, and it took me 6 years to let her out of my life. It took me 6 years to realize she was toxic. The second I met at the start of high school. I don't know how things work, but it's like as you let one go, another one just resurfaces. It's like, I'm dying, and then another one is just, I live. But it took me 8 years to finally let her go. There is a big difference between a mean kid, a bad friend, and a toxic friend. Mean kids, it's like from the onset you just know you don't like them. You both know you don't like each other. You kind of have that understanding. I would describe a bad friend as someone who is oblivious to the fact that they're hurting you. It's like they're mentally and emotionally blind. Toxic friends, they can see. They have eyes. They are witnessing your demise. With toxic friends, I would say it's a game. It's a crippling game that plays around with your mind and your emotions, and even sometimes translating physically as well. And the thing is, you want to believe to the bottom of your heart that what you have with this person is normal and maybe even great, and so you keep them in your life. Some of the traits I've noted in some of my personal toxic friends, from my little drawer, it's alphabetically listed, filed, it's a whole section, are unexplainable mood swings, being often unreasonable, being unkind, being negative and manipulative. And I'll explain all of these in personal case examples, in 2 personal case examples, okay, with the little 2 examples that So my first toxic friend, whom I shall refer to as the thief of joy. I met the thief of joy when I was in grade 6. My earliest memory of her was she had these braided ponytails and she had beads at the end of those ponytails. Maybe I'll insert an image, I don't know, if I'm feeling generous. My desk space was right next to her, so obviously that was just disastrous, okay? It was becoming a sort of... I'm making a video! I'm making a video! The thief of joy was just a friend for a while, because at the time I already had a best friend of my own. However, as the years sort of progressed, it kind of became us 3 BFFs. That was kind of like the evolution of our friendship. After some time, I remember teachers had warned my parents had warned me about maintaining a relationship with her, but I would just not let her go. The thing is, toxic friendships aren't toxic 24/7. There are some genuinely good moments that you share with that person, and there are some genuinely good qualities that you see in that friend, and that's why, as in the case for me, it takes forever to realize that that person is not good for you. For me, my rude awakening was in grade 7, where she was just acting more dramatic and malicious than usual. I remember there was an incident where she got into an argument with one of our friends, our small circle of friends. So I was just there, spectating, sandwich in hand, laughing with everyone else because it really was not that deep. However, when she lost the argument, she turned around and with a smile, shoved my sandwich into my chest. A white shirt, by the way, can I say? And I was so stunned at that point because she had never done anything like that before. So that's why I say, it can translate physically. It's not just mentally and emotionally. It can go into the physical realm. It doesn't have to be the form of aggression that you're expecting. She didn't apologize for it, and I could tell that she didn't feel any form of remorse. Mhm. Another massive episode occurred within that year where she was guilt-tripping me and my best friend for a couple of weeks. My sin being that I didn't say goodbye to her after I went home. And the thing is, I knew she was being unreasonable, but somehow I still felt obligated to fix it. And during that time, I remember she'd make fun of me and indirectly find ways to frustrate me amidst our other group of friends, or in class, or just privately. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know whether it's safe that I'm reliving these memories. Somehow our friendship mended after that, but once again, over the holidays, she found something to make noise about. And that was the point. I had enough of her, okay? That even in the state of doing nothing, she was so determined to find a flaw. She was trying to pit me and my best friend against each other, and our friendship was already on the rocks at that point. But since that incident, I unfriended, blocked, erased her from my life. I have not seen or heard from her again. That was the final straw for me with that relationship, and I think what made it easy for me is the fact that I was moving high schools, so it kind of boosted that decision for me. However, it seems that whenever one dies, another one resurrects. I think that the type of people that hold on to toxic relationships can be those with low EQ. They struggle to piece together what is happening versus what the reality of it is. I was reading a book that touched on this, and it said that your childhood can shape how you kind of interpret future situations. For example, a child grows up seeing their parents fighting, but whenever he asks them, is something wrong, they respond with, everything is fine. And that can be very confusing for a child because they now don't know how they should react. And in future, if something is wrong, they'll sort of see it as normal or fine. You see someone crying, yet they say they're okay. You see someone is shouting at you, yet they say they're not angry. Do you know what I mean? I would also say people who are lonely and with low self-esteem can also succumb to these type of relationships because they might feel like they can't do better, or they kind of feel like no one will care for them as much as they will. People pleasers as well, I think, are susceptible to this. Any form of unhealthy treatment towards them is kind of deemed justified, and they feel like they're the ones who have to do better. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing toxic friend number 2. Her name shall be Undecided. With this individual, it was up, it was down, it was in, it was out. There were peaks, there were valleys, it was sweet and it was sour. I met Undecided at the start of grade 8, and I remember being so happy because I was just thinking I won't have to be all by myself. Don't wanna be anymore. Back to the story. We were good, but after a while it was kind of like I noticed she was poking fun at me more often, and I also noticed I wasn't laughing anymore. She would tell me things like, you have a big head. Let me tell you, I became so self-conscious about the hairstyles I chose, and then the next one that just stands out, she would tell me I have a flat butt. Now let me tell you, I got down on my knees for that one. I was just like, Lord Jesus, please heal me. She was doing nothing for my self-esteem. It became a quiet tug of war with her after a while, and for some time I will say she could be genuinely kind. But like I'm saying, when you take a step back and you look at the relationship holistically, and I looked at it from afar, it was just messy and confusing. And the reason why it took me so long in this particular case is because we just kept bumping into each other, okay? And you know what your girl thought? It's a sign. It's a sign, it's a sign, it's a sign. Girl, let me tell you something. The devil is alive. The lesson learned, frequency is not confirmation. The reason why it's necessary for you to let go of such people is Not only because they're not making you better, it's because they're making you worse. You can find yourself picking up their bad habits very easily, especially after a while. For example, after Undecided, I found myself being more critical with others. The other reason is you can forget what a healthy friendship is supposed to look like, and even worse, which is something that actually happened to me, is you forget how to be a good friend. You might find it hard, you might find it easy. For example, for me with friend number one, toxic friend number one, the thief of joy, I found it as easy as ghosting. I just washed my hands and set her free. With Undecided, I remember that one was difficult because I remember crying. Let me tell you, I wept. I wept and I needed to lick my wounds for a very long time. But the thing is, in order to move forward, you have to leave certain people behind for good. Forgiveness of them and self are crucial, and it took me some time to realize that they hurt me because someone had hurt them. But forgiveness is not resuming as normal. No, we will not meet up and hang out like we used to. No, things will never be the same. And no, we will never, ever, ever get back together. Forgiveness was saying, yes, you hurt me, but I don't need to hurt you. I don't need to get even. It was letting it go. Okay? But I do not forget. Clearly, I've used such description in this video. Side note, also recognize that you yourself may have been a toxic friend at one point, because I know I was. There's somebody on the internet right now just looking at me like, this girl ruined my life. And if you know, say you're sorry. Imagine this video might never have been made if someone apologized to me. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.